All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely, lovely morning, afternoon in which the Most High has made. And I, Sister Deborah, share. And I will rest therein. Just coming with the topic. It's time to talk. It is time to talk. I got a few things I would like to talk about or speak about. And if you have questions or answers, this is the time to talk. So I'm going to hold out for a minute and see if others can come on in. And if not, I share and I will continue. Sister Deborah, just giving it a minute. It's time to talk. We're going to talk. We're going to answer questions. And we're going to ask questions. And we're going to talk. Because that's what time it is. It's time to talk. Okay. Sister Deborah is going to press on. And I will like to say that every day is a day in which the Most High has made, created, and suffered each and individual that are living to be able to see. And if He allowed you to be living with His breath in you this day, know that at least you can do is give Him glory. And not just for this day, each and every day you wake up and you see that you came through the night. Just give a higher praise and glory and honor. Thank Him right in the midst. Don't even get out of bed until you have some prayers or words of thanksgiving unto the Father. Just because your eyes have opened and you have behold another day. Give Him glory and give Him honor. We're trying to serve and worship Him in the way that flesh and blood has taught us and told us and molded us and shaped us. And we never think to just give him the praise, give him the glory, and give him the honor. He that is what? The beginning, the end, and anything in between. I'm coming today and this afternoon, a topic, time to talk. Again, if you have any questions and you have any answers, let's talk. I have a lot to talk about. Yesterday, I uploaded a video, had no idea that it had problems at the beginning. When I said the beginning, like the first half an hour, but I knew I had problems with it freezing, but I didn't know that it was also having that same problem. When I got word, a couple of people was telling me they was having problems like within that half an hour, and I was like, no one said anything. Maybe I wasn't paying any attention to the comments because I was so busy and speaking. So that's why I had to bring that video down, because there were, as I went back through the video, I did see exactly what the two individuals were saying that was taking place right like a half an hour into the video and at the end. So I thank the Most High for allowing me to wake up today, another day, and still be able to cover even some of that topic today. Okay. One thing I realize is what the Father have said. There's going to be many people running out trying to search for something they're going to feel that they're missing come the year of 2023. There are going to be many seeking something different, seeking closure. They're going to be seeking emotional help, mental help, physical help. Everybody's going to be just going to and fro, seeking all kinds of healing, deliverance, ministry. And the year that we are going into, which as they have categorized it as a new year, which is the year of 2023, I believe it's going to be a whammy. I never did get to see the dark winter and the dark winter as said, a dark winter. Even though I did see issues occurring during that time, because there was another virus that took place, and somewhere it had not been tested to see how it would bring the individuals down. And it was like, as soon as the end of December to the 1st of January, everybody was getting sick. It's December to January of 2022. So I did see that as another something that was put out as a tester, but I'm sure they were looking for it to really connect with what they had already put out 2 years prior and the V itself. So when they brought out the new the virus, whatever it was, this year 2022, during December of 2021 to 2022, everybody, everywhere you go, was getting sick. People were sick and they were having problems. And the thing about it is, when I saw that, I knew that, I felt that it was going to really be what he said, a dark winter. Other things took place during that time, but not enough to label things to be a dark winter. You see what I'm saying? So even though many things took place, don't get me wrong, but the virus that was placed out, that was put out, was trying to reach a level of really destroying people, and it didn't get to that level. And I think that's another thing that they were looking forward to. So they did bring out another one this year, uh uh say around about the 1st of December, the end of November, the 1st of December, and you could all over people were getting sick. Just this thing that was coming down, and the four, maybe I know it's probably been about six people who I know who have had it in December. They said that when they went to the doctor, they couldn't tell them what it was. Same thing with me. I had it for 7 days, and say the first 3 days, I thought I was dying. I really did. And then after that, you start to feel a breakthrough, and then you knew then that, hey, you didn't need. I don't go to the hospital for stuff like that. I try to treat myself with different medications and different herbs, and making sure I drink plenty of liquid and uh, 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 juice. I try to get some juice in, say apple juice or orange juice. But I do believe that many people really haven't prepared themselves for what is about to come up on the year 2023. And from the look of it, I can see the power of everything being released from the heaven. And the reason why I know it's great power releasing these things on the earth, so that the evil will have something to work with. The reason why I can say that is because I understand the power. And what I understand in Revelation, when I see the power releasing something, I say, okay, I see you. And that's a lot of people don't know, when he said that is which is bound on earth has been bound in heaven. I mean, earth can't do nothing if it's bound in the heaven. And that which is loose on the earth must be loose from heaven. A lot of pastors and so on has preached that, and they preached and have spoken of that verse to go vice versa. No, it doesn't. You don't have the power down here to release nothing from heaven. Okay, so a lot of people think, you have things to bind on earth, and because you bound it on earth, it's bounded in heaven. No, heaven is saying if anything is bound on earth, it is bound from the heaven level. Heavens have to loose anything for evil and wicked to take it into the area of which is already assigned for them. So a lot of times where we at today, we are looking more so at the wicked and evil and not seeing the power that controls it and has warned us of it. And we don't take the power serious, nor the level of wicked and evil and wicked serious in this day. And the problem is it's kind of somewhat scary, not so much scary for me, but I'm speaking even on regarding me, because I think of my children and my grandbaby. See, a lot of them are not paying any attention, nor do it. It's not even their concern. And that's going to come where it's going to really wound them, because they're not looking and they're not preparing their inner man, their spirit, for what is going to take place in their outer man on the earth. And I think that's another kind of scary thing. And it's a topic I'm also going to cover. I brought back to bring forward. We're really focusing on trying to control the issues that here on the earth. And let me stop saying we. They never knew that Genesis 1:26 is the power that control everything that's being loosed on the earth for the wicked and evil to control. You see, this is they're in their time period. Okay. And it's something that Ahia has allowed, okay, and assigned. Okay. So therefore, when we ignoring the power of the Father and thinking that we just focus on the wicked on the earth, then that's us lost without a cause. And therefore, the things on the earth that come upon us, we really can sit and be stressed, depressed, don't want to live or whatever. That's on us. We need to more so prepare our inner man for the things that's going to come upon our outer man. But this is not a place that people really want to find themselves in. And I'm going to tell y'all what's really, really sad is that he have told us time after time, even unto this day, we see the signs and the wonders and the things that he have said that shall come to pass. Can he say that these things are prophesied, these things, but it come not to pass? No. Somebody who really have a relationship, believe, take him at his word. People who are not saved, as they say, or have the Ruach HaKodesh, or even have any relationship with him. When people are like that, they have no idea of the power they're in. They have no idea that heaven is loosing these things. And he has always told you in the end days, he left word with you what is going to happen, because he knew that he would be the one to release those things in the what? The day, the hour, and now we're in the minutes of that hour. And people are not concerned about what he loosened or letting loose in Revelation. They're concerned about what the heathens and Gentiles are doing and not understanding they can't do it if the heavens don't loose it. You see? And you need to be concerned with the heavens and how heaven is releasing these things and telling you why and how and pretty much when. But we looking over here on the left side thinking the earth, Satan, and the people controlling it. And they don't understand. Only until heavens has released it onto the earth so that they can take the baton and run with it. And that's how they are running with it, with all their speed and might. And we are, as a people, we're running around here talking about things that really doesn't hold any weight. It's wicked and evil, because when you finish telling people these things, what is it going to do for them? How is it going to help them? Hello, hello. Shalom, shalom. It's good to see you. So how is it going to help them in any way? Okay. And you're right. Holy days. Yes. See, because I like how you said that. And let me tell you why. People make these days, these pagan days, power in the man's hand. But when you put holy, that lets me know that you understand Ahia is control over these days, because he is holy. You get what I'm saying? But in this day and time, you can't get that past the minds of the people today, is because they're thinking that the pagan holidays and the are controlled by man, setting this. But when you really think about it, it's really holy days. It really is. It's because Ahia, these days are holy days of the Most High Ahia. That's why I always say, and I shall rest therein. This is a day that Ahia has made. It's saying the same thing you said, holy days. And that's what I say on every one of my videos. But I know people don't get it, but I say it anyway. So thank you for putting a happy holy day also to you, because that it makes sense. Because we give Satan and the world credit for days that they don't own. You see what I'm saying? That's why a lot of things that's taking place, we measuring the world, Satan, and the heathens, the Gentiles. We so busy watching them, we have taken our eyes fully off of a higher himself. And it's okay because of the day that we're living in. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to go on and jump into what I spoke about the other day, yesterday. And I want to start off in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 1, the Father came to me yesterday and he said to me, and I was in my car, and he said to me, he said, Deborah, you see in Genesis 6, he said, this is why I end the world. And I'm like, wait a minute. And when he broke that thing down to me, and when he broke it down in me, guess what you are? It was like a flash. Just that quick. It wasn't something he said, this verse said this verse said this. No, it was like a flash, a quick, and I'm like, what? Because see, don't ever feel you know everything. Because we don't. Sister Deborah will pass away and only have gotten 20% of what Ahia wanted to reveal to her. See, we thinking we know it all. We have to leave room for him to show us all. Not know it all, but wait for him to show us all things. Because he said he would teach you what? All things. So we have to have something in us to want to wait for that which he said he should do in regards to teaching us all things. But if Sister Deborah know all things, then how can he teach me all things? You get what I'm saying? So even though Sister Deborah taught, and it maybe even appeared to some to know it, but let me tell you something. No, I don't. Why do you think he come to me throughout the day telling me things? Because I'm not, it might appear to you, but in the truth of the matter, why would he constantly keep teaching me every day? 2 or 3 things that I didn't know. It's because I have that thing within me from him that caused me, because that's my calling as well, to sit up under him and hear his voice, hear what he has to say. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm flesh and blood. I go into that ground. I want to hear he that created my outer man and he that is in my inner man, which is my spirit, who given me the breath of life. And you think I'm not going to recognize his breath that's allowing me to breathe? Something wrong with y'all. He's given us breath to breathe and we ignore it. Like we ace, we got it all. It's my breath, it's my life in the sense. Life is the breath of life that Ahia have blown into your nostrils. So therefore, you ain't even got a life. That real life belongs to Ahia. That's that breath of life. Now you have a spirit and you have flesh, but that which holds the both of those up still belong to Ahia. He sniffed that breath out, you fall to the ground. Then where is your life? You see, it don't make sense. But that shows you the mindset and how people have taught themselves to believe things that they want to believe. I'm going to share with you all what the Father shared with me yesterday. Just that quick. That's how he did it. He said, and I'm in my car. I'm saying, I pulled up my phone to store video, and I was in there just talking, and all of a sudden I shut it down. I said, wow, Father, it's just too much. And it was. And I want to share it with you. And I'm going to share a couple of other topics that he has spoken to me about yesterday. In Genesis chapter 1, the Father wanted me to understand why he in the world. And I think that's beautiful. Being so we in the late hour and we running up on the minutes of his time. And for him to have given me this topic, I thought it was beautiful. And right now, while I'm talking to you all would even imagine the pain that's going all over my body. All over my body. First, it started on the side of my head. Now it started on the side of my neck. It's going down to my shoulder. I don't know where this stuff is coming from. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to press on in the name of Ahaya, Ahaya, because this is very powerful. And he was talking about to me of why he destroyed the world. Okay, and it's beautiful if you really think about it. And let me tell you why he added it on to me. It's because in me, I know that things that our men are practicing is not of a higher. We are in the late hour. We are being destroyed as I speak. Okay. And we're talking about things that has no weight, only have wicked and evil. So what he wanted me to do is to close the chapter. And that's what I was trying to do last night, is to close this chapter so I don't have to return to it anymore. So I want to go to Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And we're going to go all the way down to 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to drop down to 5. Because 5 is going to give us a pretty much overcap of Genesis 6, 1, 2, and 3. It's going to show us why he came to this conclusion. Okay. It just came out of nowhere, but from somewhere. Let me say that again. It just came out of nowhere, but from somewhere. He himself looks low. Stands low and see high, stands high and see low. That means he sees it all. So whatever was going on, he knew it was off the chain for him. Not for you, not for me, but for him. It had gotten too uncomfortable. Now I want y'all to see and put yourself, you can't put yourself in the place of a higher, but just kind of feel where he coming from. Because it's going to make you feel exactly where he coming from. It's going to place you right there where he's at and say, oh, wow, I see what he did. And you're going to say, if that wasn't 100 times 100 million correct way of dealing with it, because it's the same way if it was me and I'm flesh and blood. I am not a higher. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. But I tell you this, I would have done this the same way, even if it had to cause me to lose my life. You see? So I'm going to share that with you. In Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1, and I'm going to break it down as I go down so you can kind of smother yourself in where the mindset of a higher during this time. Okay. In Genesis chapter 1, and the reason why he gave me this is for many of reasons, but one was to put a closure on the word polygamy and the lifestyle. It wanted me to understand it was not something you got wrong, Deborah. It wasn't something you felt wrong. It wasn't something that that you done wrong or you think wrong. You were always on it because I put you on it, and that's where you rest on it. So no one on that left lane, no one on that right lane. I'm running my race in the right lane. So in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1, it reads, and it came to pass when man began to multiply. Now we're talking about men. When men begin to multiply on the face of the earth, it's not saying women because the seed comes from the man. Okay. Now, if you can get the men today, yesterday, and years on down the line, understand the seed belongs and comes from them. So why was it dropped in the woman, left with the woman? Woman fed it, took care of it, provided, gave it food to eat, roof over its head. The seed that comes from you, you drop it and you go. You see? So I'm going to show you how they were conducting themselves the same matter today as they did yesterday. Now listen to this. He said today is a product of yesterday. Okay? So don't think that yesterday it was good and better. And you know how everybody said back in our days, they weren't like this. Ahaya wants me to give you the greatest gift that you might not even understand that you could have, understanding this. They are lying. What you see today is a product of yesterday that has been hidden yesterday and is coming out today. And it called that which was in the light shall come. That which was in the dark shall come to the light in the last days. And what I'm about to tell you about Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1, you got many of our men saying that polygamy was okay and there was nothing wrong with it, and so did it, and so did it. Here I am in the first book, and I'm going to show you that out of the order of Genesis chapter 1 and 2, after that stuck out sin, or sin came out. Okay? So if we want to get the perfect will and how the highest perfect way that he orchestrated, we got to stick with it. One man to one woman, clinging and becoming one. So that's a highest perfect will. So why do we give up that and begin to live man's perfect sin? It doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. Man's perfect sin. Man's perfect lust. Man's perfect fantasy. You see? But so when you step into Genesis chapter 6, you hear him saying, men on the face of the earth was multiplying. And they were, and why men multiplying? Because they're carrying the seeds. And what were the seeds that they were bringing forth? Daughters were born unto them. See, they were multiplying, and in numbers, many men. So it's telling you a lot of them decide to get into this lifestyle. It's showing you that men were multiplying. Men were multiplying. Who are these men? These are not men of the most high, a higher. These are men that are that has entertained Satan like Adam and Eve did in the garden. That's what type of men these were. Okay, and then it says, on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Now, you notice it didn't say woman. It's because they want you to get a really good look at why Ahijah destroyed the world. And what was in the dark in the last days shall come to the light. And this is coming to the light because it came to the prophetess in full force, like a flashlight. Because I never would have, yes, I would have. I went in and dipped, but I wouldn't have went in and dipped and used polygamy, lust, adultery, and whoremongering. Is the reason then he in the world is like unto today. Because that's why he in the world booted back up and did what? When he booted back up, here go who? You end up seeing Solomon and Gomorrah. You end up seeing in the book of Judge, Benjamin city, homosexual. You see what I'm saying? You end up seeing a whole bunch of it. So did Ahijah, by him destroying it, did it help to boot it back up and it still reside? Think of that. Ending things and starting it up. Let's say, for instance, in the book of Judge, Benjamin city, those men were homosexual, just like the Solomon and Gomorrah. Same thing. Okay? So I'm trying to show you and bring you to the level where he had quickened it into me. And I'm gonna nail it, y'all. Just stay with me. Now listen to this. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. I look at that in Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1. I begin to say, okay, this is probably a year ago. Why is it you're trying to expound on that there were plenty of men and they were having a lot of children, a lot of daughters? What happened to the sons? He said, because back then, Deborah, they were using their daughters like they would sell cattle. They were using their daughters as slaves. Sex trade. That's what they were doing. So when we see sex trade in the United States and other around the world, this is not something that's happened while we're living. This is something that came back way back. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand where I'm coming from with this? Now, this is just only in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. He's showing us something of why. And he's gonna knock it out the ballpark in verse 5. So just hang with me. So in chapter Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1, he's letting you know this between the fathers of the daughters and the daughters. The fathers were birthing and having children, not males, but females. That's because they sold them, y'all. And the way that they sold them, you're going to see it's the same as sex slave trade. Same way. Now listen to this. Verse 2. That the sons of Ahiah wants you to know that stop letting people lie to you that the sons of Yah are fallen angels. Don't let them tell you that these were evil and wicked people. No, these weren't evil and wicked people. These were men that was anointed and appointed to represent Yah. Remember, Yah was with the sons of Yah, and in Job, and Satan came around them, and Yah asked him, "What's your deal?" He said, "Well, you better go on over there. Hey, try Job." Ahiah was in the midst of the sons of Yah. The sons of Yah are also people who are human beings, men, in which, and they don't have to be sons, they could be daughters, but in this here, he's speaking of the men. He's saying that the sons of Yah saw, see, the eyes, they saw what was really going on, y'all, what men were doing. They saw the beautiful daughters that they had. First of all, if daughters are born to them, how was you taking so many of them? Because they still were young. Child sex slaving. See, this is, y'all don't understand what heaven saw. Now, he laid it down here for you. You never got it because you're still waiting for them same men to tell you what this means. And the Ruach HaKodesh ain't coming to tell nan one of you nothing. Because if what he ain't implanted in you, you ain't going to get. Even Sister Deborah can teach you day and night and day. You ain't going to get it unless the Ruach HaKodesh has implanted it in you. And that's called spirit and truth. Okay, so in verse 2 of Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, that the sons of Yah saw, what did they see? The daughters of men, that they were fair. Yes, and this is what they do. And this is a study I did. Why is it that they like to take the young girls, the virgins? You know why? It's because it gives them mental power, mental authority, mental right, okay, mental control. So when they see these young sex predators and all of that, it's all mentally has to do with power and control. And that's why you can see a man called Pastor Dow on the pulpit telling people that he got virgins. He's sex trafficking young girls. You see what I'm saying? And it don't matter. And that's why any man that can stand on a pulpit of his sanctuary and actually say, we got virgins, our women, we got virgins here. He's advertising it over the pulpit, which is Satan's temple, to not only you, but his whole audience that's out there listening to him. And woo, you're a pastor. Woo, I like your teaching. Woo, I subscribe to you. And they be sending him money. And I'm like, serving Satan 100. But this is what this is talking about. Listen to this. That the sons of Yah and the daughters of man that were fair. Now, these are the sons of Yah. The sons of Yah are the anointed angels that's in human flesh that Ahiah sends down here, okay, to represent him, to represent Ahiah, to represent Ahiah. Now, the sons of Yah cannot be blamed for anything. Why? Because why they come down in this, okay? So if you wonder how David got away with murdering and adultery, taking the lady's husband, taking her, having a child by her, and then David also murdered. He murdered his commander in his military army because he counted how many people that they had to go to war, and David smote him, meaning killed him. David, that's why you couldn't see how all the things that was going on in David's household. When we show you, let me show you something. This is what Ahiah did in David's household. Listen to this, you guys. And then you wonder something. And I did. And I'm glad the Father shared it with me because it made me see David a total different way. It made me see him with this branded in him. And for this that is branded in him, because I know that I am branded with this, that leads me to understand we're going to be held blameless. Okay? It's not telling us to go up against righteousness. We're branded with this in us. Okay? Now watch this here. So when David did what he did, when he took Bathsheba, I think that's her name, and she belonged to one of his soldiers, and he had his soldier killed, murdered. So he participated in the murder of a woman husband because he lust after her. And what did he do? He committed adultery with her. Okay? So he murdered, he committed adultery, and he lust. And this is what was the consequences to David from Ahiah. God said, Ahiah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house. That means all in your home, your children are going to be evil. I'm going to raise up evil against thee out of your own house. So I don't care where and how, his household was going to be evil, y'all. Listen to this. And I will take the wives before thy eyes and give them unto thy neighbors. Thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's wife. That's what he did with David's wife. Listen to that. And the neighbor shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun, early, where everybody can see it, very visible. That's why son, and it said in the sight of thy son. And this is in Samuel 24, 2 Samuel chapter 24 and verse 11. And then this is what Ahiah did. He said, for thou didst it secretly. See, he thought he did something secretly that the Father didn't see. But I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. Then, brightly in open. He's doing this to David. That means everybody, even to today, the year of 2022, what David's family, the evil. Then y'all, if you do your reading, you'll see all that wicked up in David's family. Brothers killing brothers, in David's household. All the chaos with the wives, one of the brothers raped their sister, all kind of stuff. And I always wonder, why is it David's family so hard, so evil? And now it's here, it's right here in 2 Samuel 24 and verse 11. And then it says, and David said unto Nathan, which is the prophet, who brought him word of the Most High Ahiah. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Ahiah also have put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. He's telling David, yeah, I know you killed. I know you committed adultery. I know you lust. But all the sin is going to rest on your household. Evil and everything going to be in your household. So you good. He's telling David, you good. Why? You all don't know, but I know. Because he's branded with this. He's branded. As you hear Ahiah say, no one can pluck you out of my hand. This is what he's talking about. Because you're already branded for my name's sake. So that's why David got away with that. So what happened? And then you go back and again, and you see David smock his commandment, his commander. Let me see if I got it. Did I write it down? No, I didn't. He smocked his chief commander and killed him because he counted how many that was available for the army. So he killed him. David killed him. And he said the same thing to Ahiah. I have truly seen. You see? And Ahiah at that time, guess what he did? He took Dan, Dan, the tribe of Dan, and you notice Dan don't make it to the 144. When he's sealing the 144, Dan is not in there. But listen to what Ahiah did. Ahiah put pestilence in the land, and it fell on Dan tribe and killed 70 of Dan's tribe, which were an army in Israel that works with David. Killed them 70,000 because of what? Because of David killing his commander. But what happened to David? David one did it. David did it. David is found under righteousness, belief, faith, and fear. He's branded this in his spirit. How you say, I don't care what his flesh done. His spirit is branded. His flesh don't come to me. I give him the consequences of the flesh. But his spirit is branded for my name's sake. So that's why Nathan the prophet can go to David and tell him, you good. You good. How you have forgiven you for your sin. You see, this is what I'm saying to you all. Don't think that when you hear people saying, we the people, we the Jews, we the children, yeah, you the fools. Because you ain't recognizing who my father is. And he ain't nothing to be reckoned with, like the way y'all have treated him and profaned his name and disrespected him and dishonored him. And you thinking you are walk in on something. You are nothing when you do these sort of things. And it's coming from a woman who are branded for his name's sake. People don't understand. This is the type of person that you need to be around. Oh no, we want to go to a man that polite, won't sell, telling us we can have many wives and we can get virgins, we can do this and we can do that, and has the worstest mouth on the whole YouTube as a pastor. And people praise that. So see how it was necessary to reveal to us the broad gate being wide. It's necessary. So we'll understand that which is unrighteous, unjust, they go straight into the broad gate. And it's plenty of room for everyone. Okay. Now I want to go back to Genesis. And in Genesis, you see where Ahiah is. Reason why I got back onto David is because David is a son of Yah. Go to Psalms and hear him speak. He is the son of Yah. Okay. He is, here it says, he's one of the sons of Yah. And then in verse 2, chapter 6 of Genesis, in verse 2, that the sons of Yah, those are a higher anointed ones that comes down here. When they saw the daughters of men, they were very fair, mean beautiful. And I have an issue with that because I sit back and I think, well, why it makes me feel good somewhat. But every time back in the days that men saw a beautiful woman, they just took her, had them, they way. And I look at my daughter, that's the last thing I would want for her. The last thing. And I know you all might say, well, you might put your daughter up a little high. No, baby, let me tell you something. I've known that child for 19 years. When she was born, her first day born, they put a tag on her bassinet in the baby ward. The beautifulest baby. And I had to tell them to take that down. She came in to the world known as beauty. You know how many European men that have came to me and they feel that my daughter was the most beautiful female they have ever seen. I know that beauty is there. She don't even have to have makeup or hair added or nothing. And you can see the beauty. You can see it. And I think about when they said Sarah or Isaac's wife was beautiful, was fair, and Sarah was fair. I said, well, they need to meet up on a tribe of Judah woman to see what beauty can look like out of the tribe, not mixed. Or because honestly, want me to tell y'all the truth, everywhere she go, they seem to think she another race. She ain't no other race, y'all. But that's their mindset, because they don't see us as beauty. They'll run over in Africa and get the blackest woman and make it and bring it into America and say, this is who you all are. And we have fed into it all these hundreds of years. Them dark-skinned hams, or whatever you want to call it, in Africa, it's not who we are. They'll go get them, and they'll make sure they get one that don't have, their hair is down to here, and they pitch black, and tall and anorexium, and put it in front of us and say, this is who you all are. That is not true. And all throughout our lives, and that's true, because people tend to say to me that I got high cheekbones and the features of a Indian, and they don't know my grandfather was a chief of an Indian. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying that we are mixed with a lot of things. Okay? We are mixed with all kind of things. Okay? But the one that brings us forth is Ahia. And you still wonder, I wonder, and I say I'm going to do a book on it. Why was my daughter brought in to be beautiful? What's the purpose for it? And I pray for Ahia to put a seal of protection on her, because I don't think I would want her to see her with a man because he see her beauty and he won't. Well, that's what was going on here. When the sons of man, which are the anointed men of the Most High Ahia, when they behold the daughters of men. So what's the difference from the sons of Yah and the daughters of man? The daughters of man serve Satan. And their daughters was partaker in Satan's clique. And the sons of Yah, when they saw these beautiful daughters of man and that they were fair, they just wanted what their eyes saw. And they saw that the men were doing the same thing, taking many wives as they pleased. And then what he says, and they took them wives of all which they chose. They had a choice. If that's not sex trafficking, child trafficking, I would say, child sex trafficking, I don't know what it is, because that's exactly what it was doing. Because it's letting you know they were born as were virgins. You see, on a form. That is what they're doing today. And I'm going to correct myself here. I'm in error when I say they. It is not the churches and everybody. It's a man called Dowles, Charles Dowles. I know he gone. I already knew he was gone. But it bothers me to see other men that can be something and mean something to a society follow and him and listen to him and not see wickedness in him. So what the sons of Yah did, they saw what the men were doing and the daughters were, and what they were doing with their daughters. So they too took wives. You see that word wives? Of all which they please. And this is what this man is trying to stand on a tall mountain and proclaim it's okay. The devil is a lie. I don't care how far up he take him. He's still a lie. He's just a lie with him. Okay. And in verse 3 of Genesis 6, verse 3, and Ahia said, my spirit shall not always strive with man. Why? For that he also is flesh. See, strive is mean where he's trying to pull them away and trying to tell them, you're not supposed to be going in that area, because they were anointed to come down to represent him. And he said, my spirit is not going to always strive with them. I'm going to let them go ahead because they flesh and they have stepped into a flesh realm. But did not Ahiah knew they would? Yes, he did. Because when Satan came down, he came down to deceive the whole world. So when he sends the sons of Yah down, they are deceived by what they see man doing and having beautiful daughters. And the way the world see beauty is a young girl weighing 110. That's why the models have to be real skinny, weighing 110. That's beauty for them, an innocent face. My daughter went trying to get in that role. I said, no, don't you play that. That's a dangerous game. Don't play that. Don't go running around here trying to look and appear innocent, because you know that's the standpoint of a model. And that's what she wants to do, model. She said, but why do they do that way? I said, I don't know, and I can't explain it. All I know is evil and wicked. So don't you go over in that category. Because that's what it is. They want you to look so innocent. And that's what these men of the sons of Yah saw in these daughters. Beautiful, innocent. And they were, because they were children. They wasn't even fully women. You see? And this is what Ahiah was not pleased with, y'all. Stop lying on him and trying to make him a lie so we can live a lie in this old sick world. Stop it. Stop it. So what happens? It says in 3, and Ahiah said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Okay. So what it's saying is that he's not going to be striving and begging us, don't do this, don't do this. Come on away from it, all that. Always doing that. He said he's not. Why? Because we are not only just what? Spirit, we are flesh. You see? Now watch what he said. Yet his days shall be 120 years. He even put an age on it. He said, I ain't letting him go down farther than that. You see? So I want to, and that's any man. You know, so that's what he put there. But then we drop down to Genesis 6 and 5. And it says, and Ahiah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of their thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. I say that verse matches Charles Dowles that's online. It matches him to the T. Wicked. It is wicked. Anytime someone have a perpetual hate for women, he is wicked. Anytime someone use profanity in a place that people thinking they going to worship Yah, and you up there using profanity all the way through, and also selling virgins from the pulpit and drinking in the midst of the whole world like a fountain, and Ahiah knows what you're drinking, and you're bringing it. You say you have the Holy Spirit. How is it you bring that sort of nonsense to the temple? It ain't gonna last long. Okay, so let's hear what Ahiah says. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. And Ahiah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was evil and wicked. So he had to end it all. What led him to that? Men multiplying, bringing forth daughters, born, letting you know they were young daughters. They were virgins. They just fresh little daughters. And the men were looking at them and how fair they were. And the fairness comes with them as innocent. You see? And that's what the mindset of polygamy is all about. When it want to trap in virgins, is because they want to get what they can control. A young girl back then, you didn't have no say so, because your father was selling you off to, as what does it tell you they did? To, and they took them wives of all which they chose, as if it was a sex trade. You see? As if it was to do with sex. Why would you say that, Deborah? Because it expound on babies, young daughters of virgins, and that they were fair. Okay. And they took them wives as if they couldn't go and say, okay, let me get one. No, they couldn't do that. They was taking as many as they pleased because their father was living that same lifestyle. They didn't have no problem selling them for what they were selling them for. And Ahiah saw that, and he lined it up to you so you can see. So when you get over to the New Testament, when he say, and it's going to be like the days of Noah, respect that. Stop trying to disrespect his word. He know what he said. He says what he know. And he says what he mean. If it's going to be like the days of Noah, we have to first understand, what day was that like to you, Father? What day was that like to you? You the one destroyed it. What day was it like? He said, take yourself back, Deborah, to Genesis 1. He did mine with a quickie. But when I went to try to make an instant video, I realized I was out in the car for a whole hour because I was piecing everything he had gave me in a quick of a flash. I went into that store. I said, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait home. And that's when I began to go to the Bible and said, Father, here it is, polygamy connected to sex trade, children's sex trade, because it tells you right here, daughters were born unto them. See, daughters were born into them. They ain't waiting till these daughters are 18 years old, 19 and 20. They taking these little girls, selling them to these men. And when the sons of Yah saw this, they liked it, that ideal of what they were seeing. They saw it. And then they began to take theirs. And that's when Ahiah cut the years down on life. And he said, my spirit should not always strive with man. He's letting you know, I'm not going to tolerate this. Furthermore, it's out. And then he sums it up. He said, every imagination, they were wicked and great in the earth, and every imagination and thought in their hearts was only continually wicked. It wasn't getting better, it was getting worse. That's why the world was destroyed. Because I asked him long time ago, why would you do that? You just started it. Why are you going? You know, it's one thing for him to know what it was going to be like in the heavens when he created, but to see it, okay? Hey, it's out. Bam. And then he reboot it back with Noah. Okay. So when he redid it, did it bring you right back? Yes, it did. It didn't hide it. Solomon and Gomorrah. Then you go to the book of Judge, Benjamin tribe that was in that town that wanted to have sex with the king of Judah. Oh no, it was a mess. It was a mess. So it's not something that we look at today and shun up against without looking at yesterday. Why did you destroy them then? So what Ahiah say is going to be like that in the last days. So what, if you thinking this is not the last day, I don't know what day you think this is, because that is really what's going on in the world today, especially amongst our people, our men, wanting to have what they want to have, even if it takes them to have their daughters and other people's daughters. They don't care. They just want what they want to have. And sex trafficking is going on. And when you get someone like Charles Dowles on the devil platform, announcing virgins in the sanctuary, you knew somebody sick. And anybody that follow him, they're sicker than he is, because they're fulfilling or feeding his sickness. So I think that is off the chain. I think that is something that, Ahiah just didn't deal with. And he ended the whole world, y'all. Everything under the ground, on top of the ground, and everything was out. And then he rebooted back up, and it did not take away the fact that it still came back in again. Still came back. So I would say that when you get to Abraham, and you see where Abraham was in a vision in a holy place with Ahiah. And Ahiah told him, fear not, Abraham. And he went on to telling him, I am your reward. I'm here to tell you what I have invested in you. And when he told Abraham, he said, I counted you already in for righteousness, Abraham. And Abraham was able to identify through belief. Why? Because this was already branded into Abraham before he came down. Okay, so this is another promise. This is a separate promise in Abraham. And yes, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had this same brand in them. David did too. So let me tell you why I said this. Watch this here. Look at Abraham. And you see how Abraham came out of the vision. He even told him how his seeds are going to go into captivity in another land that they're not going to know. But he even told Abraham that I'm going to give you a son. Him and Sarah going to have a son. Ahijah told him that in that vision. Why did he come out of that vision, went to Sarah, and end up having Sarah's handmaid? And why did Sarah hand him to her? This is a sex thing, y'all. See, a lot of people wants to blame the woman all the time in the issue. But these men are also fulfilling their lust. And the women is pretty much wanting to satisfy the men by giving them their desires. So in this day and time, in polygamy, these women are not okay with their husband having another wife and another wife and another wife and another wife. They would agree with it. But there is wicked in it. It has always been. Look how Hagar, once she laid with Sarah and found out she was pregnant, then that's when she got ugly with, when she laid with Abraham, found out she was pregnant, that's when she started to get ugly with Sarah. But Sarah had what she was needed to get, because she should not have turned anyone over to her husband for lust, or even if she wanted a child. See, and then you wonder why father didn't stop that, because this was the lust of Abraham and the desire of the flesh of Sarah. So they were out of the perfect will, because the perfect will was for Sarah and Abraham. Y'all see the difference between the perfect will and a permissive will? You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference. They have forever came out of the perfect will and stepped in the permissive will, because Abraham should never have told the king that that was his wife. And she should not have went in and prepared herself to lay down with him. She didn't have no problem laying down with him. And Abraham didn't have no problem with him laying with her. You notice neither one of them said anything. But Ahijah stepped in. Bam! My perfect will stepped in. Touch it if you want it. You and your whole family is dead. And I'm like, Father, what's all that about? Hold up. Father, y'all. What's all that about? Abraham ain't worried about it. Sarah all for it. What's all that about? My perfect will won't see this through. Touch her if you want to. I'll take you and your whole family out at a blink of an eye. That man bagged up. He knew he had a visit from the Most High, even though he probably never did believe in a God. But he believed in that day right there. He went to Abraham, gave Abraham everything they needed and wanted. Said, why did you do that to me? Why? Because the highest perfect will stepped in. Don't tell me my father's perfect will can't step in when it's needed. We stop this mess thinking we rule him. Yeah, he will permit things to go on. The permissive will, the unrighteous will. So, what did Abraham have? He had what David had. He was branded. And that's where a lot of people, 99.1 trillion, would miss. Abraham was in the vision, and Ahijah locked him in that he was branded for his name's sake. That was a promise to Abraham that you will walk into eternal life. Now, when he was up there, that brand told him he was going to be. Ahijah told him, you've been counted righteous. That means you coming back to my righteous throne. But for your seeds, I'm going to give them some land. So that shows you he did not tell him his seeds was going to be righteous. Would be branded with righteous belief, faith, and fear. That's just us lying. We the people. We the chosen. We the true Jews. And so what happened? As you go to Solomon, on down. Solomon, on down. Polygamy. Go back into it and see that they were branded for righteousness. So they good, no matter what they do. No matter what they do. Go into the biblical Bible and pull out the word blame. And when you pull out the word blame, look it up in English and look it up in Hebrew. You're going to be faultless. That's why David can go around doing the things he was doing. But also, you got to understand, David suffered, y'all. That man was on the battlefield all his life. Seeing dead, hurt, locked up, in prison, getting beat. From the time he became all the way to the end. David died. I mean, David went through some wars. Friends getting killed, murder before. That's all his whole life was, bloodshed. See, it wasn't, everybody look at David and say all this. No. All you had to do is go to Psalms. Read Psalms and hear David boohooing all day and all night. I can just pull one up. I can just imagine. Let me just pull one up. Just out of nowhere. Let me see if I could just pull one up. David always boohooing in Psalms. That's all Psalm is about, telling you how David is boohooing. Listen to this one here. Psalms 81. Sing aloud unto Ahiah, our strength. Make a joyful noise unto Ahiah, Jacob. Take a psalms and bring hither and trembles and play and pleasant harps with and pleasant harp. Blow the trumpet in the new moon in the time of appointed on our solemn feast days. This here was the musician telling David about how we should be bringing this before Ahiah. Listen to this. For this was the status for Israel and a law of Ahiah of Jacob. See, his musician was telling them the type of music that they need to play and feel joyful. Why? Because David forever was always on the battlefield. So he just telling them when it comes down to the Sabbath, let's us just get together and we just play music and bring harps and, really enjoy it, because David never did enjoy anything. He was so ever always begging the Father, stop them from doing this to me. Please, I plead you to do this. Stop them from killing me. David said so many times in Psalms, y'all, Father, be my shield, for they're going to kill me. Protect me because they're after me forever. Just imagine, that's not a lifestyle to live. But he was sealed in his spirit, but in his flesh paid the consequences of his sins. See, you ain't gonna get away with that. See, and that's the thing. I don't care if he is sealed. You're gonna pay the penalty of you wrongdoing. After this here is branded in you, you're gonna be on the earth paying the consequences of your wrongdoing. And that's any and every one. Sister Deborah too. We're not going to just get away with wrongdoing because we got righteousness and we find room. We know we branded, but we're going to go out here and do wrong. Especially me. He told me at 58. Been dealing with me all them years. Hear me at 58. And I'm just not knowing that I'm branded for his name's sake. I guess he knew I didn't have no sense. That he couldn't give it to me any earlier. Because I wouldn't know how to take it. So he had to make sure I was falling into the elderly area where I'm how would I say? I'm wind down. Now I tell you, you branded, sister, for my name's sake. Praise the mighty Yah. This old lady says, praise the mighty Yah. You see? So even me, myself, I don't even have the strength. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something else he told me in the car. And this is what's strange, y'all. This was strange to me. And I don't know why he told me that. Okay. He said, the war is not about you. And I'm like saying, a war is not about me. I ain't never said it was. I'm just saying, y'all, that's how I was. What is that? Oh, where are you going with that? He said, a war ain't about you. And he's really like telling me, he's not like saying me. He said, us as the flesh. The war is not about you. The spirit knoweth truth. And the spirit is truth. And did you know I didn't catch it the first time he said it? He had to say it to me 3 times. I didn't catch that. I said, wait a minute, hold up. I thought I was on the front line or something. I say the war is not about you. The spirit knows truth. And the spirit is truth. I said, what's up with that? He's saying, we as people thinking everything is about us. He said, we think that everything is about us. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. That makes sense. I'm going to break it down to you. That makes a lot of sense. And listen to what he says. The spirit knows truth. You know who that spirit he talking about? Satan. He said that spirit of Satan, he know who I am. Satan knows who I am. And then he said, and the spirit is truth. And I'm like, the spirit is truth. That means him. He is truth. So he's saying to me, while everybody running around here thinking everything is about them, Satan know it ain't about him. I know it is about me. So why is everybody making it about you? Makes a lot of sense, y'all. Makes a whole lot of sense. We're fighting against any and everything possible here on the earth. It ain't even about us. Satan know it ain't about us. He know it ain't about him. He know it's about who? The spirit of truth. Satan knows that. Satan has to sit until a higher drops something from heaven for him. He has to sit until heaven released to him what he can take to his people to do. Praise Almighty God. And we as people making it about us. And when he was saying that, I was like, oh, Father, that's so thick. The reason why it's so thick, if Satan knows the truth, or higher is the truth, then who are we to make it about us and not the spirit of truth? Satan make it about him. He make it about himself, but we make it about us. That's sad. We're thinking because he elected us as the children of, or the seed, the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We take on Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's power and make it ours. And we can't. Because if we could use Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's power, we'll be in there, y'all. We'll be in there. How you say, you better tell them to get real. Only thing they in is the land that I promised their father that I would give them. I didn't promise them this. You won't find one scripture where he told them, I promise you this, that you will come back and reign in righteousness. He ain't promised that to them. But he promised it to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. That's why they were the seed of the woman in Genesis. They were the seed of the woman in Genesis, where he said, I'm going to put a division between her seed and thy seed. And her seed going to crush your doing plans every time, Satan. Oh, yeah, you're going to wound her heel. But her heel is going to crush your plans. So it's going to crush your head, serpent. My seed is going to crush your head. And you're going to bruise the heel, because I'm going to order their steps in the way they should go. And you're going to come up under their heel and stop the steps that I have ordered for them. And they're going to crush your plan every time. And you just going to be bruising their heel in the process. Look what David did. Look what David did. David came down as what? The seed. And look what he did. Adultery, murder, and lust. The devil got under his heel. His heel represents the steps of a good man that Ahiah has ordered. Satan got under them steps, and that was the heel. And the heel crushed Satan's head. How did the heel crush? How did the heel crush? How did the heel of the woman's seed crush Satan's head? Bam! Every time. Every time. That's how the heel of the seed of the woman crushed Satan's head, meaning his plan. But it didn't ever stop him. He come right back under David's feet again, right at that heel, and that heel comes up, bam, go on to the serpent's head after the serpent has bruised the heel go down, crush the serpent's head, and bam. Next, that's how he was bruising the heel of the seed of the woman. We know women don't have a seed. So Ahiah want me to let you know he was talking about his seed. You heard of the sower sowing the seeds. You notice he sowed the seeds on stony ground, the waysides, in thorns. But then the father said, hold up, I got some soil down there. The sower sowed seeds in soil, and it sprouted up. Those were those who were branded. You see? So don't mess with him thinking he ain't got his already locked in. They were locked in, you guys, before the foundation of the world, which is a stage in the word of Yah. Everybody refused to go read and see what took place back then. Really, everything that was, everything that was, is, everything that shall be had already been. Boy, it was so beautiful. I heard a group of men teaching the rest. And they taught that thing just like I taught it. I taught it, I think, 3 years ago. I taught it probably 6 times about that resting place. I taught that thing, y'all. I taught that thing. And to live today, to hear elderly men, it was like 4 of them. And they teaching it. The resting place, and they said, y'all, and they've been in this for a long time. This ain't what we thought it was. It ain't what you thought it is. We thinking he talking about rest. Like, no, it ain't what you think. And they were breaking it down, but it felt good. It really do feel good to see our men be able to grip spirit and truth. I don't care how late in the hour we're in. I love to see them touch the hem of his garment, and he make them whole in understanding. It felt really good, you guys. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but it felt good just to hear them be on spirit and truth. It really did, to see that how y'all been here on a long time and y'all just not getting it, but that's all right. You got it. Better late than never. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I like that. So what I was saying about it was something I was speaking about. Anybody have any questions, or maybe even have answers to questions? Anybody, just come on with it. Yes, he's a just God. And I was explaining to you all about the serpent and the heel of those that Ahiah have sent is the seed of the woman. Those are Ahiahs, okay? They're sealed with this. They crushes the serpent's head. The serpent's head represents his plans, what he planned on doing, what he's trying to do. Now, I want you to hear this. In let's start with Psalms 37, verse 30. Psalms 37, verse 23 and 24. The steps of a good man are ordered by Ahiah, and he delight in his ways. The brands. Those that are branded. Listen to what he says. The steps of a good man are ordered by Ahijah, and he delight in his ways. Though, verse 24, though he fall, and he shall not be utterly cast down. See, even though Solomon, David, Abraham, Isaac, even though they fall, they shall not be utterly cast down. For Ahijah uphold him with what? Anybody know? What does he uphold them with? In verse 24, Psalms 37 and verse 24, Ahijah uphold them up. How? How did he uphold them? With his hand. Hallelujah. So when you see Abraham and Isaac and David and Solomon, all them messing up and doing all kind of wicked things, guess what? They got this here. They are branded for his name's sake already. So that's why, now listen to this. Psalms 119 and verse 105. Psalms 119 and verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. Hallelujah. And a light unto my path. Hallelujah. That sounds good. Let me read that again. Psalms 119, verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Woo, that's beautiful. Let's go to Proverbs 20 and 24. Listen to this. Proverbs 20 and 24. A man's going, and how do he go? He moves, he walks. Or of Ahijah. How can a man then understand his own ways? Why? He can't. Ahijah ordered his ways through his steps that he has ordered for him. You see, so we're really thinking, that's why I say a lot of us don't understand. Yeah, you might be in control over a lot of things that you do, but you also have to understand whose side are you on. Hallelujah. Those that's on a higher side, he orders his steps. He ordered his natural steps, but his spirit is already predestined. And this is where the Hebrew Israelites are going to get messed up from the floor. They're going to get messed up on this. Why? Because they don't understand you were only promised the land, not eternal life. Okay? Abraham was promised the land for the seed and promised the eternal life. This is the greatest promise, is eternal life. Okay? So let's go to Proverbs 16 and 9. Proverbs 16 and 9. A man's heart a man's heart divided his ways, diverse his ways. But Ahijah direct his steps. Hallelujah. Ahijah directs his steps. So steps and feet represents the steps and the order in which Ahijah has orchestrated your life on the earth. That's that life on the earth Ahijah has orchestrated. Satan comes after that because he knows you are a seed that has been planted in the soil. So when he comes slithering around, because your steps has been ordered by Yah, your steps slam his head, which is his plan to destroy you. And you still get wounded. Your heel is bruised because Satan came after you. That's how David did the lust and the murder and the adultery and many more. All of them were doing chaotic stuff. Don't think that they were. That's why Ahijah didn't mean for you and I to take Sarah's way of doing things. Ahijah didn't mean that. Because he knows Sarah was doing exactly what we were doing. I know a lot of them want to make it look, they can do that. They can do that and they can afford to do it because we don't have the proof to show them, and they don't have the proof to show us that Sarah was exactly like they want to say she is. So he's saying to them, don't go mimicking the ones I have this in. A greater one shall come. That's what John the Baptist said. Oh, it's one coming greater than I. That's the one you look for. That's the one you walk like. That's the one you talk like. That's the one you want to mimic. Oh, they don't want to come near Yeshua HaMashiach. They don't even want to talk about Yeshua HaMashiach. They so busy talking about, is it the monarchies? And they don't understand this is in the monarchies. They are branded for this. So you cannot mimic them. You can only mimic their sin in their flesh. But you can't mimic this, because this ain't been given to you to mimic. It's in the spirit. So yeah, you can go in and mimic his adultery, his polygamy, his flesh. All the things that Ahia will permit you to mimic. It's fine. Because Ahia know you ain't got this in you. It's you running behind man's flesh to be like unto him. Why not you trying to seek if you got this here that they had? Oh no, they don't want to seek this to see if they are branded by this. They want to go mimicking the flesh of who they are, so that they can mimic those ways and bring it to a pulpit and teach these men to fall therein. It's several men that is following, and not several, it's many of them. They're following men because they don't understand. It's a trap. It's to bring you to the level. You know what? I'm going to share something else with y'all. You know, the Father told me something today. He said, no, that was last night and this morning. Because I know he told me again this morning, but he told me last night. He said, how you already done check your daughters them out. Because I don't see them following y'all. Ain't nothing they doing is following y'all. So he said, you see how you done checked them out? That's what the Father said to me. Especially last night when I was sitting in there. I said, yeah. I said, yeah. He said, okay. If I'm in you, I said, you know you are. You done brought it back up to my remembrance. He said, what was it? That you was going to make my daughter fisherman of men, a doctor of men. She's going to be a doctor of men. She always wanted to be a pediatrician. Not a pediatrician, a neurologist. And the Father, I was sad because she went off to college to be just that. And the Father said, don't worry about it. I'm going to make her a doctor of men. So she's either going to come when I'm ceased or before I'm ceased, which she can't become this in the spiritual realm if I'm gone. She has to become it while I'm living to see the prophecy come to pass, because the prophecy was given to me that she will become a doctor of man. So they're meaning she's going to end up on the spiritual realm. So he was reminding me, why you didn't check your daughters out already? Why you just assume that there's no way I can bring up what I have invested in them because you don't see it? And I was like, okay, and where are you going? He said, try it. He said, who do you say that I am? I said, you bring things back to my remembrance, and you done brought that back. Just like that. Just letting me know. Don't count them out. If I have given you a promise, I'm about what I say, and I say what I'm about. I don't care what you see. I stick to my word. And even if it comes to this book, yes, it's smeared. It's got a lot of mouth of man in it, like you see today. That's what you all see today. A lot of mumbo jumbo mouth of men and perpetual hate of women and men, but the men is so high. Woo! And I think about it's got to be the Father, because in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 25, 24 and 25, he told us women that I'm going to destroy your men. I'm destroying your men. He's talking in this day here. I'm destroying them. I'm going to destroy them by the sword. So when you go up in Revelation and you see it, he said, this many been destroyed, this been destroyed. This is coming to destroy lives, and 1/3, 2/3. He's really for real. He's not playing. Like he told me, I'm about what I say, and I say what I'm about. And where are you? I said, I did not forget. You are a higher that brings back memories. You said you are one that will bring us back to remember. And he brought me that last night and this morning. I told you I was coming back. That even though no how deep she go, trust in what I told you, that I will bring her back. And she will be a doctor of men. And they're going to need that. Not of males, but of people. We're going to need that in the days to come. You bet back. Something's going to have to bring her to, not something, let me get that off. A higher is going to bring her to a level beyond what one could even understand. And I'm all for that. And I'm glad he had to bring me to that. Because with me, I tell you, honey, I said, baby, if you ain't gonna get on that horse and ride in the righteous, that's on you. It's over, baby. Don't think he come to play with you. But he said to me, but what did I say to you? And want me to tell you how long ago he told me that? She was 15. She had went to college at 15. Yeah. Georgia Southern University. She had went to college at 15. And I said that she came home. She said, Mama, they trying to teach me about the great bane, the great boom, or bane, the great bane. And he said, and I don't know how to live like that. I said, live like what? He said, you taught me something totally different, and they teaching me something totally different than what you taught. I said, wait a minute, hold up. You go there and learn everything they teach you. What I taught you is still in you. It ain't going nowhere. Go and learn what they have to teach you. Learn all you need to learn of what they have to teach you. It's all right. And that's when the Father came to me that night. I'm going to make her a doctor of men. You see, let her go. Let her be. And that's what I did. I let her go and let her be the best that she knew how to be. And I still have not seen that. But it does not mean that I give up on his word spoken to my spirit. And that's what he was bringing back to my remembrance. Didn't he say, Yeshua say, that when the spirit of truth comes, the Holy Spirit, it will bring things back to your remembrance? Oh, he good at that. He said, but what do you? And it's like a flash. He'll say something to make me go back into what he's trying to ask me, so that I can use that memory to bring it forth to today. So I think that's beautiful. Let me see if oh yeah, I read that too. And they catch our men, and that's what I feel sad about, because I can see them doing that, and even to the point where I'm gonna tell y'all something. This Charles Dowles, I'm gonna tell y'all something. This man has caused many good men to give up their wives and children and come to his compound and teach these men how to be men that rules, that leaders, controller. Don't ever want a man to teach you how to do that. Never. That's not even for a father to teach a son to rule, control, to put people under your feet. That a father should never teach you. The first thing a father should teach, a righteous father should teach his son, is how to seek God first in everything, in all things. Seek ye the kingdom of God, and all shall be added. Just think about how many of our sons and daughters, if we were to have told them to seek ye the kingdom of Yah first, and all will be added. That means your goings, your comings, your ups and downs, he will make sure he see you through. He will be on your left, your right, in front of you, and back of you. He will see you through if you seek him first. So why would these men, now listen to this, it's one guy, he's a football player. Y'all, he married this Gentile, and they had, I think it's 8 children. I think she had one on the way when he left. 8 children. And I sit back and I think of that man. You have to be a sick man to leave those 8 babies. If you have issues with your wife, go to the Father. Why do you go to a man? I mean, what would be so weak in a man to where he's seeking help but seeking it out of a ugly, fleshly, loudmouth man. You could have stayed with your wife. At least your children would have been there for you. Why leave your family that Ahiah gave you? All those seeds that he put in you to implant in her womb, and she birthed them seeds for you, and you turn around because she don't believe what you believe. You turn around away from that woman and her 8 children, I think it was 9 because I think she was pregnant again, and go to a compound with a man that's selling virgin and marry a virgin. That is not, y'all, of any Ahiah, none whatsoever. That man is walking down a dark, evil tunnel. And he's done it not just with that man, other guys, especially when he loves getting these ex-football players because they got money. And he uses their money to build his compound. And they are too ignorant to even catch on that he is not a god. They look at him like he's a god. And they don't understand that he's a serpent, a wolf in sheep clothing. No, he's not even in sheep clothing. Let me stop lying. Let me stop that right now. He's not even in sheep clothing because his mouth matches Satan's mouth. So he's not in sheep clothing, but yet, how can a man cause men to leave their prior wives and children to come to his compound so he can breathe in them? And yes, he's going to win on that end because he see that they are vulnerable. They're weak men. They don't know nothing about Yah. And they don't understand that you're not supposed to seek man first. You're supposed to seek the kingdom of Yah first and let him add on. Oh, let me tell you. If a man had to go to the altar on a woman, if a man has to go to the altar on a woman, that woman in trouble. Did y'all know that? That woman is in trouble. I mean, big time trouble. For real trouble. If a man has to go to the altar of the Most High Ahiah regarding his wife, she's in trouble. That's how sincere a father is. The creator in the heavens. Are you going to trust me with her ways? You coming to the one that can has the answer of her beginning and her end. Come on, come to me. I tell you how you deal with it. And Ahiah will mold and shape and orchestrate that thing in a way that you have never seen. And the man be like, I love my wife. That's how he would start feeling about his wife. But see, they don't give Ahiah a chance. They didn't give Ahiah a chance. They run their tails to a man. And the man is what Ahiah said, trust no man. And they trust in the man with their children and their wives. Now that man that left his wife and his children, all them babies, them babies were babies. Just imagine how that lady had to live with those babies and him out of the house after he done laid all those eggs. Who told you that she's responsible for all those eggs you done laid? She's not responsible for even the chastising. He said, Father, don't cause your children to wrath. Any chastising, discipline, and correction in the children, it has to come from the father. When the mother has to step in that role, then they become the mother's oppressors because things are out of order. See, it's out of the God order. It's out of his order. So therefore, the children rebel against the mother because if the father were there, they would rebel against him. But if he put Ahiah first to lead and guide his wife and his children, then he's going to be okay. But they won't do that. They would never do it. It's pretty much too late because they went too far out in the deep with some men and letting them tell them how to live their lives. And it's pretty much too late. And really it is, because all you have to do is read what the word says and you'll see why it's too late. And just like I was just going over Genesis 6, chapter 6, and where he ended the world, he was talking about the imagination of men was evil continually and wicked. What part of that you don't get? If he said it's going to be like the days of Noah, what are you looking for? A ship? A boat? What you looking for? Rain? People don't even look that way. Why? Because they got on there. They're going to be selling, buying, selling, giving in marriage. There it is. It matches the day of Noah. But see, you don't know the fullness until you go back and see when, okay, Father, let me step in the realm of what was there. And when the Father lets you step into the realm of Genesis chapter 6, you realize it's some things that was going on with these men and these young girls and this polygamy back then. And that's why you see it today. And that's why you see the Hebrew Israelite movement. Men run and jump on that bandwagon and want to bring the monarchy men up as identifying that polygamy is okay. No, it ain't, baby. They did that in the flesh. How you try it? Have you tried them in this realm? Why don't you mimic them in this realm? You can't mimic them in this realm because this realm wasn't given to you. So you go after the flesh of their sin and mimic it and say it's okay. Use a lie from the pit of hell. None of it is okay. And the only thing I had a problem with, and I have a problem with it. I have a deep problem with it. I say, okay, Father, everything that they done that was wrong, it weighed upon the wife and the children, just as it is today, y'all. Check it out. It weighs upon when he punished David. He told Nathan, Nathan, to tell David, he's good. I forgive you. Your sins have been wiped away. Why? Because he turned around and he told David, and he told David, this said Ahiah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house, and I would take thy wives. You know what I had a problem with? I said, why didn't David go and confront his son about raping his daughter? It bothers me. I'm like, Father, why? Wait a minute, hold up, Father, y'all, hold up. I got a question. Why I don't see that? Why I don't see David defending the fact that his son raped his daughter? See, back then, men didn't have no fear for anything in value of women. And all of this here that was going on, listen to how the Father is doing it. I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house. And that means his children. Okay, and his wife, evil. That's why Hagar got mad at Sarah once she realized she was pregnant. Evil. You're going to run it and let her lay down with your husband. She can call you and your husband a heap of trouble. And it did. Look at David. I mean, look at Jacob. Look at Jacob. Look at Jacob. Oh, Jacob. He went drunk. Drunk. Now, what do the Father has to do with that polygamy? He drunk and go in and sleep with somebody he didn't even know he was sleeping with. And because he did sleep with her and lay with her, he had to marry her. You see? And then that prolonged the one that he had to marry. He wanted to marry. Years. And the one that he laid with, she didn't care if he knew he was laying down with her. She didn't care. He didn't either. He was drunk. But then you make it righteous will. You make it a highest righteous will. The things that the monarchy men done. You make it the Father's righteous will. Use a lie from the pit of hell. You just didn't know they was branded with this. But what they did in their flesh was no righteous. It was unrighteous. That's how sick these men are, not knowing spirit and truth. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I know I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble for this. When I sat at this table, I wanted to expound on what he was telling me, and that's Deuteronomy 28. He said, you got to also connect that Deuteronomy 28, Deborah, what's happening today. It's the end. Everything's going to be like the days of Noah. And at the days of Noah was the end days. Noah went to warn the people. You bringing Deuteronomy up over and over and over is a warning to the people of what's really going on. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that that's the end game of the curse, is that they are destroyed. But they don't understand being destroyed means, here I am. I'm at the door. I'm opening it up for you. See, that's what many don't understand. It's a blessing in being destroyed because that ends the curse, y'all. We can be destroyed here, but in spirit, we in there. You see what I'm saying? David can do whatever he did. Jacob can do whatever he did, but in the spirit, they were in there. You see what I'm saying? And Ahiah is saying the same thing regarding Deuteronomy 28. If you in there with him, then he said he didn't mark his. What are you afraid of? My prophecy and why? I said for them to destroy you, crush you until you destroy. Put that yoke around your neck until you are destroyed. And you can't get not one man out of the tribe of Judah to stand on top of the mountain and proclaim that message of that end game. And I said, that's deep. Keep warning them, Deborah. Somebody will pick it up. Somebody will pick it up. And when they pick it up, they're going to run with it. And when they run with it, they're going to come to the knowledge that we are not coming out of this like we have lied to our women and children and our other young men. We've lied, you guys. And we've made a lie out of his curse. We've denied his curse. His curse told us you're going to come in curse and you're going to go out curse. What is that telling you? You ain't leaving here being free. You're going to be cursed when you leave out of here. But you're going to be destroyed here when you leave out. But as long as you in there, that is going to override you being destroyed here. Wow. And that is going to get you to the other side. And only then will he say he's going to restore you once you get to the other side. See, and this is what I can't seem to, and I guess it's a way that I'm doing it. Maybe I'm doing it doing it the wrong way. But he told me when I sat down, he said, cover Deuteronomy 28. Cover that thing. Cover that thing. And he's wanting me to really use that for the new calendar season, new calendar time period for the year 2023. Make sure I put that on my calendar to cover Deuteronomy 28 end game, so that once they realize it, I'm coming for it. I'm coming to get them there. That's beautiful. See, they don't understand the curse got to end. And if you sitting here telling people the curse is a lie and that it's not true and that we are going to do this and they going to let us do this, we got to tell the heathen this, we got to tell the heathen they got to do this, and he just sitting here saying, but baby, what about what I see? Y'all want to say y'all represent me? Y'all want to use my name and you're profaning it. You want to disrespect and dishonor me. And I told you, I don't want to curse you. The Gentiles and the heathen didn't curse you. I done already told you. You're going to borrow from them and they're not going to borrow from you, and they're going to get above you. You're going to be the tail and they're going to be the head. And I told you all of this, and you trying to be something outside of what I said to make me a lie so you can live a lie. And we still wondering why we in captivity. He said, that's why. They still holding up. I'm still holding up on them until they understand they got to be destroyed. And it's a mindset of understanding that you are destroyed. And like with me, I don't have no problems with it. I'm all for it. Because he showed me, he was talking to me twice. Deuteronomy 28 and 34, Deuteronomy 28 and 67, he was talking to me. He said, you're going to go mad at the sight of what you're going to see. And if I ain't gone mad, I don't know who haven't. So I'm with him already. I'm in there. I already know I'm destroyed. I already know it. I already know it. I feel it. I see it. I behold it. I salute it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. I'm gone. Because I'm already going mad. Every day I go step out my door, I'm going mad. Even when I'm listening to my children and listening to other people, everywhere I go, I feel I'm mad. I'm going mad. I'm losing it, child. That's what I mean. And see, a lot of us, we sitting around and we're thinking that the world is going to save us. The world is going to redeem us. The world is going to bring us out of situations that we're in, and they're going to help us heal and get better and do this and have this and be this. And when we finish, we just playing with ourselves. because his word is about what he says, and he says what he's about. And a lot of people, first thing they tell you, all the Torah, we must go into the Torah. What Deuteronomy is in the Torah, and you still don't believe it. You see what I'm saying? They want to make a, they just lying. You know what I'm saying? They want you to embrace their belief and power of Torah. Well, okay, Torah is in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is part of Torah. So what are you talking about? Why haven't you believed it? See, that's why he said, you know them by their fruit. Their fruit have respect for spirit and truth. And then if you say, well, okay, Deborah, what about in the old? What about spirit and truth in the old? What is it? It was Yeshua said, man don't live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah, not out of the mouth of man. It didn't say out of the mouth of man. It said out of the mouth of Yah. Then Timothy says, study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. There you go again, the word of truth. Ahia is the word, and the word was with him, and the word is him. So when Timothy is saying the word of truth, what is that saying? Spirit and truth. Ahia is a spirit, and he is truth. Man shall not live on bread alone, but every word that proceeded, there go that word, out of the mouth of Yah. Yeshua wasn't claiming that he was Yah. He was saying to Satan, I have to understand, I have to say that man don't live on bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of my Father's mouth. Why are we not taking the word that proceed out of Ahia's mouth, but taking every word in this book that proceed out of man's mouth? See, if we take what he says, then we have gotten under the Ruach HaKodesh teaching. But if we take what man says, then we do not have the Ruach HaKodesh, because the Ruach HaKodesh is going to come and teach us all things. It's going to separate and divide what man has said that I said and what I have said that I said. Hallelujah. It's going to come. And it's going to divide what man has said that I said and what I have said that I said. Praise the mighty Yah. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Just like he has said that the war is not about us. We have made everything about us and have forsaken the one that is waiting for he that controls the war to release down to him so he can start the war, but he knows truth of the war. And then the one that created the war, that is the truth, he knows truth. The one that's going to be in it knows truth. But here we are making it about us. We're taking it and making it about us. And it ain't about us. We're making this whole earth be about us. From Genesis to Revelation. And we don't even understand. We just in his will. We walk in his will of what? He said, everything was created, Deborah, for my name's sake, for my will. So what are they talking about? I don't know, Father. They're gone. You said we're going to lose it, so you know we done lost it. So anybody have any questions? Okay, we're open for another 10 minutes for questions. I have a question, sister and mother. Okay, give me your question. Shalom. See, that's what I like about that. That's how I am. Look, listen. I'm a prophetess in the wilderness. And let me tell you, I'm taught by the Holy Spirit. Even though my flesh, I ain't gonna say I don't agree. My flesh, I salute us being destroyed. Okay? But it ain't comfortable for me to know that we are going to be destroyed. And the reason why it's heavy like that, where my flesh doesn't agree, is because it's keeping him from coming for you. That's how heavy it is. You see, the flesh fights against the spirit. 24:24. The flesh fights against the spirit. And the spirit fights against the flesh. What are they fighting for? What are they fighting for? Ain't they in this together? No. The spirit knows the thing which is righteous. And the flesh don't want to hear righteous and don't want to embrace righteous so righteous can come in the midst. So it keeps it for coming and accepting it. But oh man, I don't have that. I do have that. Flesh fight against the spirit. 24:24. And that's with me, it's like mine's is like I don't even see that. With me is I salute the fact of being destroyed, but it's a part in me, in my flesh. It's not that I don't agree with it. I'm all for it. It's a part of me, I just think, that says or feel maybe a little fear in the flesh of the unknown. But as he continuing in my life, he's taking it to me like he's spoon feeding it. And it feels so good. It's like, oh, well, I can't wait till everybody get it. And getting it only means is that you salute that the curse was by Ahiah. And the beginning curse showed his care for us. And the end of the curse means we can't come out of it until we are destroyed. Being destroyed in the flesh doesn't mean we destroyed in the spirit. So Sister Deborah can be destroyed in her flesh, but her spirit will override the flesh once the flesh is destroyed. So it'll be like you still normal. You get it? 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 That's why the flesh don't want us to agree with it or get it. And you are so right. A lot of people, I think men, have heard it from my message, but won't go that way because it's too hard to agree with it. You see what I'm saying? The flesh. But they don't understand that's what's keeping Ahiah for coming for us. Because once they get that part, then they'll understand that the curse truly was a curse of the Most High Ahiah. Right now, they won't even embrace the fact that it was Ahiah. They still telling the heathens and Gentiles, you doing this, you did this, you did this, you did this. Y'all trying to kill us here. Y'all trying. They supposed to. And once you salute it, then Ahiah takes you to the next level of understanding. It's all well. Because once they destroy this, then I'll kick in your spirit, man. And I'm in there with your spirit. And then you're going to be able to be back to normal, even though your mind going to be gone. Your mind going to be destroyed. The question explained the parable of the 10 virgins. Most of the Hebrew men uses that to say Hamashiach agreed with. Yeah, they use that. They sure do. I know it. Guess what? This one man, and he's a Christian. And I do feel good. They do use that. This man was on, this Charles Dowles, this Christian man was on 6 days ago. And he whooped him like a man whooping his son with a extension cord. He whooped Pastor Dow's tail. And he brought up every word he said. You know what he said? Let me give you one even powerful than the 10 virgins and how they're using that. They're now pastor, now I even call him pastor, Charlie Dowles is telling them that God had 2 wives. And you should go to his page and see how he break down the 2 wives as if whores. He's talking about Judith and Israel, Judith and Jerusalem, which is Judith and Israel, have gone away from Ahiah as whores. Come back unto me. He's calling them 2 wives. Ain't that deep? That is off the chain in such a midnight hour we're in. Through a few minutes to go. And you mean you're going to have the audacity to bring Ahiah into polygamy, you gone, bro. I knew he was gone, but he gone for real. And he ain't gone from the being destroyed. He's gone from eternal. He don't have this. Okay, the 10 virgins, we know that has nothing to do with no polygamy. Matter of fact, that was a parable of how heaven is like unto. You know, everybody, heaven is just saying that everybody thinking they coming. Everybody thinking they going, but he's saying heavens is like unto the 10 virgins, because heavens already know those 10 gonna be down there, and neither one of them gonna be ready. Honestly, none of them was ready, because when the trumpet was blown, that's when they began to trim their lamp. Your lamp should have been trimmed anyway, but that just heaven's trying to show you ain't nobody gonna really be ready. But to have the oil is this. That should answer your question. Neither one of the virgins were ready. Neither one of the virgins were ready, you guys. 10 virgins, none of them was ready. But 5 of them had this. Now, do you kind of get it? 5 of the virgins had this. The oil in their lamp. This is it. This is what they were branded with, the 5. Because you go back to it and read it. The 10 virgins didn't have any, they wasn't ready. And when the trumpet blew, all 10 went out to trim their lamp. Why wasn't it trimmed? Why wasn't it trimmed? And if you had oil in your lamp, wouldn't it be something like what the world called love, for you to give her a little just so she can get into the door? They didn't give them none, did they? Let's go on there. Let's go there. Let's go there. Okay. We got the 10 virgins. Okay. 5 had oil and 5 didn't. How Andre would you be to have oil and the door is open, and somebody who don't have, couldn't you give them a little so they can go in, just enough oil to go in? Why wouldn't you give them a little oil? You tell them, no, you ain't giving them nothing. They can go on and get theirs, because the oil that they had in their lamp wasn't oil that they could share. The 5 that had oil wasn't oil that they could share. This was a spiritual message, you guys. They had righteous belief and faith and fear branded in them that allowed them to go into the door when it was open and it was closed. But the other 5 had not the brand of the Most High, Ahiah, in them. They even took off to see if they can get some oil. This is showing you, when you in that world that deep, like this man Pastor Dow and these cults that's following, these people in this cult that's following him. This is what Sister Deborah said to you all, each and every last one of you all. You better make sure you know who you serve. I don't have no problem telling you, I know this is branded in me. I was told at 58 that I'm branded for his name's sake. I understand now. I'm not going to go out there and murder nobody and commit adultery and sin against my father. That's probably why he waited till I was so old to tell me. The reason why ain't nobody bothered with me. Nobody come over in my way giving me no hard time. Every job I worked on, they paid me what I said I wanted, and they gave me what I wanted. Nobody come. Don't you come talking to me stupid about nothing. I didn't even have to say it like that. It's just something about me that told them, back up. Don't bother her. And I thank the Father. He told me it was a hedge around me, and I was branded for his name's sake. So see, even for that reason, you should be hated. I said, well, that's what I was feeling. Maybe it was hated. He said, but not hated because you are to be hated. It's hated because you are in the spirit. And that's what Satan hates. You get it? So those virgins didn't. The reason why, okay, you go back to the thing, you see how in that parable, how when the trumpet was blown and the thing was ready for them, it was in the midnight and it was time, they start trimming their lamps. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you just not trimming it? And you got oil and you just not trimming your lamp. Why are you just not getting ready? Oh, no, because they wasn't ready. Now one of them was. It was just those that had the oil. This was the oil. And that's why they couldn't share it, because it was spiritual. It was a brand of the Most High Yah that could not be shared with those that did not have oil. So it was a spiritual thing. Heaven is like unto that. Because this started in the heaven. This gives you a mark in the Lamb Book of Life. So this is heaven with this. This ain't earth. So that's why. Because I'm like saying, well, you know, when you read that, you wonder, well, wait a minute, why did they just give them a little oil? At least so their lamp can be on. Y'all, both of them wasn't ready because y'all went out the same time to trim it. So that shows you wasn't ready. But if you had oil, give them a little oil so they can get in. No, told them to go get their own. No, you can't go get your own. You didn't get your own, so how you gonna tell them to go get some? You didn't get the oil that you got in your lamp. This is your oil, and it was spiritual all the time. Okay, I hope that answered the question. But yeah, that's how, and that's how even with, I was saying to everyone, you know, just find out where you at with the Most Higher. Before your year go in, or even doing your entering into the new year, just Father, tell me, show me who I am in you and you in me. I feel you in me. I feel you live in me. I feel I have the Ruach HaKodesh. Let him reveal that to you in a way that you are sure that you can walk into this new year in victory. You see? And like I said, I never understood as a little girl. You know, I knew I was somewhere. I knew that. And I knew I was seeing things other people couldn't see. I knew that. I knew I can tell the lives of people and who people were and what people were doing. And I knew all about all of that. And I was one that stayed to myself. Bam. That's another thing. I wasn't a loner. Don't get me wrong. I was not a loner. But I was one that stayed to myself. And it wasn't nothing, you know, you guys, it wasn't nothing Sister Deborah didn't know how to do. I was the one that, and I never could, I never will understand this even to today. But my mom used to let my sister and her husband and all the ones that hung out with them, they used to smoke dope, shoot cocaine and all this. My mother didn't know nothing about it. And honestly, he was a murderer. I'm gonna tell it like it is. And I remember there were several nights my older sister came home, and she would ask Mama, "Can Booby go with us? We finna go out over in Illinois." And my mother always let me go. But I was in elementary. Was I in? I think I was in in elementary. I think, yeah, and going into high school probably the year prior. But I think I was in maybe I was in high school. I was young. Mama would let them go. You want me to tell y'all why they was coming to get me? Because they knew that when I dance, everybody's eyes is on me. And they love that. They love that. Oh, let's go get her. And they go get me and take me way over in Illinois. And I look like I could look back over that and I said how I was dressing. I was like, why would they want me to come with them looking like this? You know, and I thought I had it going on, but I'm looking back over at it. And it was always at a bar, at a bar. It wasn't like a bar, but it was a big place where they have music and there is a bar, but it was like not like a little bar. It was a big place. And boy, when the music came on, they said, "Booby, where Booby at? Tell Booby to come up there. Go on up there and do it." Every dance came in, I mastered it. I could do any dance that came out. And I look back over my life and think about how my sister, that same sister used to like to hear me sing when her friends come over. And I'm just thinking all the things in my whole life that I learned to do and I was given the ability to do. I'm going to tell y'all something. He has been truly good to me. Even though I have had times, I am one of the people that can never, ever, 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 ever stand before the Most High and blame him for anything. Because I look back even at my life and even I look at my children, I think, hey, if they ain't nowhere near the ability that Ahia had birthed in me to do and be. Nowhere near. It's no way my children could have children. You see what I'm saying? Me raising children, you know, a higher giving me the ability to know their spirits, their personalities, not their spirits, but their personalities, and knowing, you know, them themselves. It's just, I just count it truly a blessing. So I look back at it and I say to you all today, know who you are in him, not who you are on this Deborah platform or who these people are or who Sister Deborah is. Know who you are and where you stand in the face of the Most High or higher, because that's more important than anything. I believe that this is going to be worse than any year. Now, this is me. I believe that this is going to be worse than any year that has ever. And the reason why I say that is because he told me that they're going to take the Bible and you're going to see the tribe of Judah and even maybe Christians as well. But I'm more so focused on Judah and see them do away with uh, things that's in there. That's a study guide. Okay. And he said they're going to do away with it. They're going to call everything in here a lie. Then they're going to be left out with nothing to go by. And while they're out there, he said something that I can't explain it, but I know he's coming back to tell me. I know he's going to give me the fullness, but y'all, this is kind of strange. He say the word is going to speak for itself. Wait a minute, hold up. You mean the book is going to be done away because they're going to put it away? He said the word is going to speak for itself. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. So I don't know what that is. Wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute now, Father, y'all. What's going on? That's what I think is strange about him talking to me about what the 2023, the word. And when it does, you all, it's not gonna just hear it, you're gonna see it. It's finna come and walk itself out. He's kicking us to the curb, and he's gonna let the word walk itself out. You're gonna hear his word loud and clear. And I don't know which realm that's coming from or how that's going. All I know is that's what he said. And he said, you was thinking that if the book is gone, then they ain't gonna have no guide or no lead. He said, He said, the word is gonna be loud and clear. It's gonna walk itself out. Said, okay, all righty. That could be the two witnesses. I don't know. I know the two witnesses is not coming in the United States. They're not gonna be even over here. They're gonna be elsewhere in another country. But I don't know what I'm gonna tell you. I really don't know, but it got to be something. So, all righty. But I will say that I will be back again, and I appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in, and I appreciate you all coming on. And we have to come up with topics that we can speak on, because we need to really cover what we are actually feeling in the days to come and in the days that we are in, what is really going on. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's because it's a lot of secret and a lot of things are being hidden. But where we are at in this hour of the Most High or higher is running up on the minutes. And that means that we're hitting it real close, y'all. So I want to let you know I appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. And I hope you got of it. And most of all, I want to thank the Most High or higher for allowing my laptop to really work through this 2 hours and giving me, I thank him for another opportunity to bring forth what was taken down yesterday. And I want to show you this. You see the one he said he has marked, they has this here on in them already. Because if you just sending the angels down to mark you, don't they have to know who they are? Bam, bam. You see? So and the reason why the Gentiles, now I want y'all to understand this here. Let me say this right quick. I was in total disagreement with understanding how the Gentiles are grafted in. They're not grafted in to us as a nation in the flesh. They're grafted into the promise of Abraham. Okay, that same promise Abraham has. So what did he say? That all they have to do is what? Have faith and believe. See there? This is what they brought them in. And this didn't bring them in as if when they Gentiles on the earth, they were brought in from the heaven. So you are going to have Gentiles that has been grafted into eternal life, not Hebrew Israelites life. You get what I'm saying? That's not what he said. They're going to be grafted in through eternal life. Okay. And you might even see where you're really going to see the real ones, maybe in that route to the promised land where they're going to see us and they're going to pick us up and help us over the threshold. They might be also this. Okay. But you rest assured that the Father knows what he's doing. He don't need us. He don't need Sister Deborah, man, or nobody to rule over the pot, him being the potter over the clay. He rules this thing. So therefore, if the Ahaya got Gentiles grafted in, I salute that in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. How did they get grafted in? When Yeshua HaMashiach came, that was their time to be adopted in to the promise. Okay? Through faith, through belief. Okay? And that's how they came in. And it's not the faith and belief in the flesh. It's the faith in the spirit. Why? Because the lamb was slaughtered before the foundation of the world. So therefore, the blood was already spilled in the heavens. And that's how they got also in the Lamb Book of Life. So there are Gentiles that's going to be seen in the New Jerusalem. Okay? And this is how they came, the same way we came. That's them getting grafted in. They don't get grafted down here on the earth in this oppressed land. That's why if you read your book, you'll see them connected with us when we at the promised land. They're going to take us over the threshold in a sense to help us. Remember it says, and they're going to be carrying our children on their backs, on their shoulders, and they're going to help us over the threshold. Now, those are going to have this here. Okay? They're going to be that. But they're just coming in during that time. But they can't share with us in our oppressor situation. And if you have those that are portraying it, they don't, that's not their place. If they want to be grafted in the flesh, which they cannot, because we are a bloodline, you can't get in that way. But if you want to get in, you know that you are in through the spiritual line. Me as a prophet is in the wilderness should be able to reveal who you are out on the highway and byway, claiming to be who you are in the promise of eternal and in righteousness. That means when you're hearing the things that they are doing and they're portraying against us and they're saying, you still will stand on top of that, just like that little old lady did. She's constantly telling them how they're doing us. It's not going to take you out of who you are, a Gentile. It would allow you to be serving a higher in the spirit realm in righteous. But you can't serve a higher in the spirit realm among us, because we are in a captivity lifestyle. And he said, you're going to get above us and we're going to get beneath you. So therefore, you can't be with us and among us, grafted in our churches and in our communities and in our and trying to portray the role as you are with us, when a higher said you're going to be above us. So therefore, only thing that means to me is you go out on the highways and byways and proclaim who we are and who you are in a higher, and who we are in spirit and truth. So they're not going to do that though. And that's why you know that many of them are not this, even if they are among us, because they can't be among us, because we're in captivity. We're going through some things. So when he said we shall be cursed and that we will be crushed and destroyed, then what happened to the Gentiles that surround us? They don't get destroyed. Oh, wait a minute. They in our churches. They say they grafted in. See, don't make sense to it. So I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, and every last one of you, and I will see you next time. Shalom and shalom.